Hello, and welcome to episode 27 of my World Tanks Replays, I think. I think this is the first time I've ever recorded World Tanks Replays episode back-to-back, so how about that? So we're just going to fast forward a little bit here. Okay. And here we are here with the ARL 44 on Erlenberg. This is a map that a lot of people hate. I actually don't hate this map, so... ha. And my ARL 44 here has got the 105mm cannon. A lot of people like using the 90mm on this tank. I am not one of them, because I find that, one, this gun is a very, very strong gun in its tier, and two, that the 90mm, the 212 penetration is just overkill. If I consider that good pen on my FCM50T, it's just unnecessary at tier 6. So yeah, that's my note to the 90mm. Now I see how on the AMX M4 it'll certainly become a better gun choice, but for right now I will be using the A105 on the ARL 44. This is also an older replay, like the last episode. This is also from 8.8, I believe. And also, once again, I am recording with the higher graphic settings, because I didn't find that it caused too much choppiness. And there's an unfortunate Panzer III-4 who's about to discover how much a 105mm gun hurts. Yeah, it hurts. You're regretting that choice, Panzer III-4, aren't you now? Being a little lazy, not aiming down. Oh, I do, actually. And my friend finished him off. Guest platooned up with me as almost... is quite frequently the case, and this time it's Panzer IV-S. And so he's going to just sit up there, take a sniper position, and support me as I try to push through this flank. S-35CA, I have the same gun as him. Fortunately, I do not get my shot in first, and the SU-100 takes him out, but that's okay. So we're going to come around this corner and see what we can find. Hopefully not a KV-2, because they give ARL 44s a really hard time if they know where to shoot, which is this thing's turret, if you're unaware, because the frontal plate on the ARL 44 is 120mm, sloped back at a good 45 degrees. So the frontal hull armor in the ARL 44 is actually very, very strong. But the turret is 120 at the front and something like 30 at the sides. So yeah, the turret, if you even know that's a weak spot, it's very unfortunate. If it did not have that stupid turret armor, then this would be a much better vehicle and potentially very overpowered, but such is the ARL 44. And we have, as you saw, we threw another shot at that Hellcat, who somehow crashed. I guess he jumped into the river and just died on impact, I guess. But we showed him what our gun does, putting 300 into him. Our Panzer IV-S is putting fire into him, and I'm going to aim. It's a long aiming time, but you also get that aiming time with the 90mm. You also get a crappy aiming time, so why not use the 105, because the gun handling is actually the same. So took him out, and for another nice 300 amount of damage. And yeah, that's this gun. This gun is surprisingly heavy on alpha. 300 is really good alpha at tier 6, believe it or not. The KV-1S's 390 is just absurd. It's not that this is only decent, it's that the 390 on the KV-1S is just off the charts. And this is actually what very good alpha is at this tier. Sitting there with the T-150 with around 300 alpha. And DPM on this gun is not terrible either. I think it's like a 10-second reload, so you do the math. That's not terrible. And I think you actually get worse DPM if you throw the 90mm on here. So we took out that. Wait, where were we even shooting? A Churchill 7. So he's no longer in the picture. So we're gonna move up and see if we can gauge that KV-1S. But there's an 88, and I'll rather take the shot at the AMX-13. I can one-shot him, and I'm not guaranteed to pen an 88 or hit where I want to hit on that 18 at a long range. But it appears we're going to have to deal with him because Luke's is lighting him up, and we want him to get him while he is still lit up. But this gun isn't perfect. It will miss, so you can't really expect to hit shots at this range. We're about 450 meters away. So, yeah, not surprising. That shot actually RNG saves me, and also gives me a nice damage roll, so that AT-8, fortunately he does get away because our Luke's dies, and we kind of have to ignore him. Unfortunately, I would have liked to not ignore him, but he doesn't really seem to shoot at us when we go forward here. So we're going to move up, go into the castle area, and see if we can get that KV-1S out of there, which might be a little problematic. I mean, we do have a pretty strong force here, so I'm pretty confident, but you can't just... anything involving a KV-1S is not guaranteed, so we're going to be a little careful here. Still worrying about the AT-8 at this point, but he's kind of back down out there, and he probably can't see us anyway. So I'm going to move forward while I know this guy is behind some cover. Well, putting myself at risk to an SU-100. But I think I have a good idea where he is, and I'm pretty sure he's on the other side of the map, up by the B or C line. So I'm just going to come up here. As you see, the ARL 44 is quite a mobile heavy tank, kind of being the French thing. Even the AMX M4 is a very speedy heavy tank. So yeah. We're going to move up here after putting a shot into that KV-1S, and we'll throw one to finish him off. So with each shot doing 300 damage, this is one of the tanks that you will find the damage adds up. You don't feel like you maybe have to put a lot of shots into people or such, but after the game you'll see that you realize that it does a lot more damage than you may initially think. So I'm not going to worry about that AT-8 because he doesn't seem like he's coming out of his shell anytime soon, and I don't really want to deal with him frontally because he probably can win that duel pretty easily. Especially with this gun's performance at ranges, which is not terrible, but not great. And see an SU-100, and as you see, tank has got pretty darn good gun depression here, but unfortunately, I throw a shot into his mantle, and fortunately, he throws a shot into my commander's hatch, only doing optics damage, but that one goes through, so we're going to fire a shell into this guy for 293 damage. I was really hoping to push him into the water, but then he curved off, which is unfortunate. And then he stopped there. But he is a dead vehicle. I have no idea how my shot killed him and went through the water. I don't know. But I'm just going to give this guy a little burial out in the river. Why not? I'm bored. I'm probably not going to get to the cap circle anytime soon. And the AT-8's on the other side of the map, so let me just plow this guy's corpse into the water. Why not? It's a lot more difficult to push a dead tank, regardless of how heavy it is, than you may think. I guess it is kind of realistic because you have all the parts scraping on the ground, but still. This thing does have a big engine. I should be able to move him a little better. And there he is buried in the river, and we pretty much have this game sealed up. And yeah, that was a good game, and we will see what we see having the extraction report. You see the SU-100 saying, "Are you done yet?" And yeah, I guess I am. So I'll see you in the after action report. And welcome to the after action report for this game, where we see that we collected 42,853 credits and 2,334 damage. Oh, we did not collect 2,334 damage. We received 2,334 experience, which of course was doubled for the first victory of the day. So yeah, that's nice. So, not much else to say. Let's just break down what we did. We did 330 damage to the Churchill 7, 440 to that KV-1S, 343 to the AT-8, 294 to the Hellcat, 580 to the SU-100, 280 to the Churchill 1, 311 to the Panzer III-4, and 220 to the AMX-13AM, along with a ton of criticals, damaging the track of the Churchill 7, damaging the fuel tank of the KV-1S, damaging the track of the Hellcat, damaging the track, injuring the commander, and injuring the gunner of the SU-100, destroying the track of the Panzer III-4, and destroying the track of the AMX-13, even though he kind of died in one shot. And Churchill 7, I had 174 spying damage, and 127 spying damage on the Churchill 1, and 69 to the Panzer III-4, and 104 on the S-35CA, along with 2 spots. So it's a good sum of all-around stuff. Let's see how much that adds up to in terms of damage on the team score. So yeah, 2,771 damage. That's a pretty darn good sum for Tier 6, if I must say myself. Now, this game is certainly impressive, I would say, but it's not as impressive quite as my previous episode with the T-21 where I did this amount of damage. But as you see, I didn't feel like I was firing a lot of shots in that game, but the shots did really add up, and I really did get 2,771 damage. So, yeah, that's a nice sum, along with 4 kills and 1,167 experience in my pocket. So, yeah, that was a very nice game. Team did pretty well, and we won that game on Erlenberg. For the detailed report, let's head over and see that we had 18 shots fired, 14 direct hits, and 10 penetrations for 2,771 damage. And the penetrations part is completely not reflective of how this gun performs, because 1, you should never shoot the gun mail out of an SU-100, and 2, you're probably not going to pen an AT-8 with pretty much all the Tier 6 guns at that range, unless you have a really accurate gun. 6 hits received, 5 pens, 2 non-pens. Well, I wasn't really soaking up damage in that game. 2 enemies spotted, 8 enemies damaged, 4 enemies destroyed, 474 spying damage, so that was very nice as well. With a 35,000 credit profit, with a little help from some sort of mission that also that gave me some credits. So that was pretty nice, and I gotta say, I really do enjoy this vehicle, and I would say the 105 is definitely the way to go here, and because the 90mm, honestly, it's just a little bit of overkill. So that's it for this episode. Until next time, I will see you guys then. Goodbye.